probably due a world war. I think what should happen is that we should make the baby boomers fight the war for us. Let them do it for once. I think we've got the right to sit this one out. I think once they've all killed themselves, we'll have a wonderful planet after that. That'll be beautiful.
I would never fight, not even for independent Scotland, but definitely not for United Kingdom. No. Fighting in a war. No chance. Fighting for your country. What a joke.
On the radio the other day they were talking about national service. I don't know who'd come up with this stupid plan.
France had reintroduced it.
That must have been what it prompted it. They were saying, is this a good idea for here? There's nothing I can imagine worse than being conscripted to fight something. I think you should be allowed to be a conscientious objector and with your money as well. You should be allowed to not pay for bombs.
Well, this is it. How much of my tax money is now in the deserts of the Middle East? Exactly. Smouldering wreckage.
Your tax money should go towards something that benefits people, and killing folk very rarely benefits anybody, if at all. Especially if they're not attacking you. You know, if they come into your bit and you've got to defend your patch, well, fair enough, because they fucking started it. But the way that we go around starting it, you're going like, wait, what the fuck happened here? I don't feel comfortable with that at all.
It's the imperial mindset that Britain can't get rid of. Whenever there's a scrap, it's like, we want involved, we've got bombs.
I don't understand why that appeals to people.
What do you mean, the militarism of it?
Militarism, the wanting to be dominated and controlled to an extent, you know, in your life. Wanting this regimented idea of what an ideal, this is how things are meant to be approach is. Where I've never understood that.
I think, not to talk ourselves up, but we kind of look at the world differently, whereas most people are just trying to get on with their lives, and they want simplicity.
Aye.
So they want a simple leader with simple messages. They don't realise that actually the world is fragmented and very complex, and there's layers to everything.
It's always the big thing with politics and religion. It's like, you know, it's bullshit. Where like some guy stands up and goes, I've got the answers. My book has all the answers. It's the universal truth. I hate that word truth. It's a big giveaway, because people like Alex Jones and all these religious people, they talk about the truth, and it's always the opposite. Anyone that says I am the absolute truth, I am the reality, always the worst fucking scum on earth.
So just to go off on it, see, I woke up the other morning and I was on my phone just checking it, and I think it was when Trump was announcing the Space Force. This is the truth. I genuinely thought I had imagined it, like in a moment of sleep. I actually went back on Twitter and I was like, did I really see that this morning? I was like, yep, it's him standing there going, we're gonna, and everyone starts chanting Space Force, and you're like, what has the world turned into? It's like NASA landed on the moon, in 69? And it's like, we're here now. But he even came out, like, I watched it again, he comes out and goes, listen, I don't know why, we've got all these billionaires and they want to make rockets, so we'll let them make the rockets and then we'll take all the credit for it. And all the crowd start cheering, and it's like, nothing has summed up Trump perfect. Like, I'll just take the credit for everything. I'll do none of the work or finance any of it.
I just love the way that, like, you know, possibly the biggest manned operation involving space is going to have the word force in it. We're going to bomb shit up there somehow. We're going to find a way to make a war out of this. You know, what's up there? Nothing. Literally nothing. It's a big empty vacuum. We gotta get some guns up there, man. We gotta have a force.
It's just, the world's mad. I used to actually quite like Elon Musk like years ago. It was always kind of interesting, and the more you learn about these people, the more they come out, you're like, oh, you're a complete nutcase as well. Like,
everyone's a dick.
Everyone's a complete nutcase. If you listen to it, it's like, why are you on Twitter? Like, why are you arguing with people on Twitter about, like, oh, I've read the Communist Manifesto, I think what Marx meant was this. Like, you sound like a teenager. What are you doing?
It's, I don't like putting labels on stuff. Like libertarian, you know, immediately you've got the 6 million connotations of what that means. You do. You get the same thing with socialists. I'm a socialist. You know, you suddenly get this mental image of what this person's going to be like. And I think that's the same thing with feminism, when I find that actually there's a lot of sanity in it. But the minute someone can grab onto that label, they can add all these actually deeply personal traits to it that have nothing to do with feminism.
It's quite hard to define yourself just with like one label, you know. It's a tricky thing to do, and yet sometimes you end up doing like super hyphenated, like 10 different words to try and explain things. But
I think the problem we have is that we're quite strong individualists, that we'd probably rather encourage folk to be individually themselves
Yeah.
as opposed to being part of a group. So I mean, I have it all the time where I find people that have kind of groupthink to be honest, quite disturbing to be around, because I feel like you don't think that, you read that somewhere. And I hate that where I ask, like, what do you think about this? And they have that pamphlet response of ba 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 ba. So no, what do you think about it? Not what you've read somewhere else. What do you actually think about this issue? And a lot of folk you encounter that are very kind of label based tend to have this quite, according to Wikipedia I should say this, it's like, no, but what do you think? What do you actually think? You know,
people are like that because it's not talking myself up, but I tried to view every issue in its own point of view, but
Yeah.
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Trying to follow every news thing and make a judgment from a neutral point of view is time consuming and very tiring, so it's easier to just fall back on preset.
Do you not think though that you've got like a set of beliefs, like a core set of values? They may not be like really solidly be easy to describe or whatever, but do you not think whatever topic came up, you would be able to just rely on your kind of first principles and go
Yeah,
from
but
there?
it's one of those awkward things where I do have that, but I think mine are all kind of about fair and justice and equality, and it's like I think that I'm right about that, whereas other people are obviously different. I think that's like the fundamental core of being a human, but I'm like, but people think otherwise, and it's sometimes hard to get your head around that because you're going, well, mine are all nice.
I'm quite into truth in the sense of, like, if you actually are a bastard, if you're willing to kind of admit it up front, I've kind of got more respect for you on that basis. Like, if you were just to sit here as a Brexiteer and go, I don't like immigrants. Now, I don't like that guy, but the fact that he is actually telling me really what he thinks, I think means something. The people I don't like, your kind of Tony Blair's of the world and his ilk, or the Smiling Knife, that try and make out like, actually I'm this, I'm that, and it's that bullshit veneer they put on stuff, that I'd almost rather be offended by what you are than, you know, be kind of lied
if
to about
someone's
what
like
you're
that,
not.
it means you can actually have
Yeah.
an argument or a debate against something. Whereas I know what you're saying, especially it tends to be the modern right wing, they think all that, but they know it doesn't go across well, so they lie, they put up that veneer when
Yeah.
you know they're talking bollocks.
Exactly. That's the thing that annoys me the most. It's like, even not just in a political sense, but in daily life, it's irritating. Say what you actually mean. Just say what you want to say here.
Then my argument would be, as I was talking about my own core values, they know that they're wrong somehow, but there's like a greed or selfishness that's what they want, but they know it's fundamentally wrong in some level.
A lot of politics now is very much just like pat you on the back, reassurance. So you get like guys, you know, that I know kind of from working elsewhere, that they're tuning in to your Daily Mail-esque stuff, not because it's right or improving the world, but because they want to be told. They want a third party to go, like, you've got it right. Oh my God, your ideas are great. And it's like, that's what that's actually tapping into. It's just, it's feeding this ego trip, and so much of the media is just about that now. So truth is actually irrelevant, and that's really irritating, because the minute you actually sit someone down and try and force them to confront, a lot of them actually can't deal with it. A lot of them really freak out on it. They get really kind of like, when you go, what do you think about this? Suddenly that requires them to kind of actually look at themselves. It requires them to really go like, who am I? What do I stand for? You're asking, what are your principal beliefs? Do they actually have any? Or is it just, I kind of want to be part of the club. I want to fit in. I want to do this.
Just to kind of wrap up a lot of what we talked about, it's almost like, see, decades ago they said we would have been working on 3 and 4 day weeks and we'd have lives of leisure. How much has been orchestrated that we don't have that freedom, because it's always putting people under pressure to like make the mortgage and make the bills. It doesn't give them the freedom or time to actually think about the world they're in and the decisions. And I'm the same, like, I don't even have kids. I've got an okay job, and I still feel exhausted trying to process the politics as it goes by.
Yeah.
So if you've got a young family and you're just making ends meet, or you're even struggling, how much do you care about what's on the politics that evening? So that's kind of going down this conspiracy road that I'm not too 100% on, but I'm like, how much is it to keep everyone in line?
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I just think it's human nature. I think it's just that that's what we're wired to do, and people that are involved in the media, it's all about making money and know how to exploit it. There's no difference between that and someone who sets up a strip club. They know what they're doing. They know what they're tapping into, and I don't think it's some overarching. We got behind closed doors and went, ha ha ha, let's do this. It's just human nature is what it is, and it's very easy to exploit. And I think that the braver thing to do is to not fucking exploit it. And a bit of, again, that a lot of that comes down to truth, and if people want to kind of handle the truth.
People are so talented, and they should be able to earn a better income. I'm not including myself in this at all, by the way. But even Neil Slorance, like, his stuff's amazing.
He's genuinely he's comfortably the best thing in the National now, easily. He's probably the most talented guy in the Yes movement. He should be the fucking figurehead of it, because his comics they're emotional, they're politically intelligent, but they're so cute. He can get away with the harshest shit, and it's brilliant. And he is exactly what the face of this movement should be about. Yeah. And he never gets the credit he deserves for it. And across the UK, he's just seen as this kind of quirky comic guy. But he's honestly probably one of the best guys working today. But he's never put over as that. It's another thing, again, where I think the National could do a better job of making him a bigger deal than he is. Because he's ultra talented. And they just and here's our cartoonist, Neil. He's alright. And there's no attempt to make him like he is the best political cartoonist in the world. But, you can make an argument he probably is the best political cartoonist in the UK today. The guy could fucking live draw an election. And, they're just going, oh, here's Neil.
Well, do you know what?
Who's that? Put him over.
Is it the Times cartoonist? Is it Matt or whatever he's called? Apparently he was on 150 grand a year.
Neil's earning more than the editor.
Yeah.
Neil deserves so much more than that.
Whereas, I imagine someone like Neil is probably getting a couple of quid on the side. I don't know, but there's an art form to good political cartoons, and Neil has it down in a kind of cutesy, quirky way, but it still gets to the point of that week in 2 panels.
But that's what he's able to do. It's very similar, actually. It's a very different style, but it is quite similar to South Park in that it can be very cutting, biting humour, but because it's presented in this very cute image, you get away with it. So that one he did recently, which is on the Trump and the children in the cages and the family separation, just that one panel cartoon where it was her walking down with the jacket, I don't care, and him with the one that's neither do I in the back. That's really biting, but in his style, it kind of softens it, but it makes the same fucking point. And because a lot of Scottish nationalists were quite venomous people in how we talk and how we sound and how we come across. He can do that, but with that cutesy look to it, it's beautiful and you get away with it. Because a lot of Unionists love his stuff. He interacts with some really hardline UK people because they appreciate how talented he is. So that should tell you how good this guy is if they want to put that aside. And I just feel he's never been given the props he deserves, because he's super fucking talented.
It's the perceptions people have of value. One way people go, oh, he just draws cartoons. And it's no, that's a lifetime of talent that he can make that. It's the same with people that might do video or photography, graphic design. It's always oh, you could just knock that up. And it's no, that's 15 years of learning the trade,
I think he's the kind of guy that he makes it look easy. And that's when you've got it. He's never whinging about it. He's never complaining.
No, he's
super
great.
Optimistic. He's a nice guy. Whereas you get these guys, I really struggled to write this week. A lot of online abuse. And you're oh, fuck off. If you got it, you got it. And that guy's got it in fucking spades. And he never complains.
Writing's a piece of piss. Anyone can write. This is what happened in Scottish politics. Oh, everyone hates me. Blah, blah, blah. Try and sum it up in 2 nice-looking panels.